I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 168. And I'm really excited to be here with you all today. We're going to talk about investing today. And, I want to talk about a topic here that a quote actually that Warren Buffett says. He says, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." And maybe you knew this, maybe you didn't know this, but there's actually something called the fear or greed index, right? And it goes along those lines. Basically, like, I'll just give you an example. When the pandemic hit, and everything started going down, people were fearful. That's when you should be greedy. That's when we call it buying on the dip. When things are down, you got to know, like, look, no matter how much Apple is down, it's going to go back up, right? No matter how much certain companies like Bank of America, or, just certain companies that have been around forever, right? Facebook now, or Tesla, no matter how far it goes down, we must know that it is going to come back up, right? So the key is buy on the dip and then let it ride, and that's where you earn your income. If you didn't do anything but buy low, sell high, we can just keep doing it over and over and over again, you are winning, right? In the game of investing, especially with companies that are sure, like companies that we know are going to succeed. Because here's the deal, we use these products every day. Like, if you're on Facebook every day, how would you think that the stock won't continue to thrive, right? And so on and so forth with these other companies, like, like I mentioned, Bank of America. There's so many I could mention that are things that we use every single day. So, like, start thinking about what you what you use every single day, and then see if you can invest in it. And the key is to buy on the dip. But the whole concept of this fear or greed index is, when other people are fearful, that's when you buy up. And then when other people are greedy, that's when you want to sell, right? Because like right now, is a perfect time, in my opinion. Not that I'm an expert, but in my opinion, it's a perfect time to sell a house, because now people are greedy because everything's at the top of the market. People are making money, right? But it's not necessarily the best time, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an expert, but it's not the best time to buy a house because everything is through the roof right now, and it's gonna come down at some point. It can't stay that high forever, right? And so that's the concept. And it's investing 101. But I just thought I'd just have this conversation with you all because we hadn't talked. I mean, obviously we talk about freedom. That's the name of this podcast, right? Code Freedom. We talk about freedom all the time, and we talk about it, so a lot of times, from a business perspective, or from a earning income and setting up your lifestyle perspective. But let's talk a little bit more about investing. And I'm going to have some guests on to talk about investing because I want to bring experts to you. But I am a fairly good investor myself. I just tell you, like, I like to invest in certain companies, and I'm always looking for opportunities where, when other people, that same concept, when other people are, like, oh my gosh, like, my stock is going down, I'm gonna sell it. No, that's the time. I mean, don't get me wrong, you want to sell before it goes like crazy, right? But at the same time, that's the part that you really want to buy, right? That's when people panic. Is the time that people panic is the time that you should be buying, right? And the time that people are like for instance, I remember with even crypto. Let's just talk about crypto. I'm not an expert on crypto, but things were at a high for a minute, right? And now everything is down, right? So now would be the time to buy because guess what? Crypto is going to go back up, right? But everybody was like, is it too late to get in? Is it too late to get in? Is it too late to get in? Listen, if you have to ask that question, then it's probably too late to get in. Right? Because that's the part where people are greedy. People are like, hey, look, I'm gonna spend all this money on such and such. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you can't still make money. It's just depending on when you get in. But what I'm saying is you just got to understand the shift and when to do certain things, right? And this is in every industry. It's in the real estate industry. It's in um, the stock market. It could be even in the business industry. I mean, that's what businesses do all day long. They buy wholesale, they sell retail. They buy high. I mean, they buy low, they sell high. That's how people profit. That's how people earn income, right? I mean, think about it. When you go to a store and you want to buy this really nice shirt, and the price says, let's just throw a figure out there. Let's just say the shirt, it's a really nice shirt. So it's like $45, maybe $50. Hey, it might even be $100. You got to obviously know that it didn't cost $50 or $100 for them to make the shirt. Honestly, it might have taken $7 or even less than that for them to actually pull all the expenses together to make one shirt. Right? It might have took $3 to $5 to make the shirt, maybe $10 or $12 at the most. But they're going to scale that and earn profit from that. So listen, if we just understood that concept, we could do it all day long, right? We can do it all day long. And so um, again, there's a fear or greed index, and you just want to be mindful of it. So when you see people on the news like about the stock market and about the things that are happening in the world, like people are like even right now, gas is high, right? Inflation is here, and things are in this situation. So this is the time when people would typically um, this is the time when people would typically, I would say, you typically would be wanting to buy things because um, a lot of things are going to be at on a lower end, just because people are a little fearful. They're like, oh my gosh, like what's going on in the world? The gas prices are up. There are rumors of wars. There's all kind of things. Which, by the way, that's in the Bible. So if you don't understand the times that we're in, hey, it's going to get a whole lot worse than it will before it gets better. But understand that we're rooted. If you have your faith and you're in Christ, hey, you're good to go, right? So don't be weary in well doing, and continue to keep the faith and fight the good faith. But hey, that's not even my topic today. I just thought I'd throw that in there. My topic here is just understanding investing. And I would just say, go to Investopedia and start studying investing terms. Start getting your feet wet if you're not already on investing. Um, I'm intrigued by investing because it's just amazing to me that you can invest in something now, and then 6 months from now it can be at a whole nother level and your income grew. The Bible talks about this. Like the Bible, in the parable of the sower, um, you know, I'm sorry, not the sower, the parable of the talents. The shrewd businessman, so to speak. He wanted his income to grow. He didn't want it to just stay the same, right? He wanted to continue to have interest building on top of it, and that's the key. I think I might have mentioned this on the last podcast, but I'll never forget. Um, working at a bank and seeing people who are millionaires, who had $1 million in their account, I should say, and they were living off their interests, and that just blew my mind. And that's why we should understand and study investing. Let me just say this. Let me dispel a myth. We'll probably have an episode on this, but retirement is not based on age. Retirement is based on when you are in a position where all your bills can be paid and you don't necessarily have to worry about it, right? That is true retirement. Like if you can do that at 30, if you could do that at 25, and by the way, people do it all the time, right? Maybe you're in situations like I was where I didn't know a lot of people who did, but trust me, if you get in certain circles, man, you'll find you could be in a whole room full of 25-year-olds. You could be in a room full of 10 or 15-year-olds these days. I mean, we got folks with these YouTube channels who are earning all this income. Um, and these kids don't even have any bills yet, right? But they're earning this income because they've learned how to use their gift, and their gift will make room for them. And the same thing will happen for you. So, what is your gift? And let it make room for you. But get to a place where you can make your money work for you, and then make your money make money. Where you can start investing, like we talk about the quadrants, the cash flow quadrants, and you have the right side is where you really want to be on the business side, and then the investing side. And the business side is where you make your money work for you. And then the investing side is where you make your money make money. Right. And so we talked about that on the last episode when we talked about, um, you know, faith is a muscle. No, I don't think we talked about that on that episode. Forgive me. That was episode 166. I think I talked about that on TikTok. I can't keep up these days. I'm doing so much stuff to put out that I can't keep up. But the point is, and by the way, if you want to check that out, um, you know what? That was a live, so you can't check it out. But we'll definitely do a video on it just to talk about more of these things and more of these topics, because I just want people to have that knowledge. And there's so much knowledge available for us, but sometimes we don't seek it out. And sometimes it's just hearing something like that on a podcast like this, where you're like, you know what? Like that's what I've done. Like yesterday, I was listening to a podcast where I was doing some things. I always like to have some personal development going. And that somebody mentioned the book, and I'm like, "Ooh, I haven't heard of that book. Let me get that book." And so I immediately got the book, and now I'm starting to read it and take notes on it and learn from it, right? Because I want to get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I want to get the knowledge, but I want to know how to apply it at the right time and have that wisdom where it can really serve me and the people that I wish to serve, right? And bring value to. So, again, be greedy when people are fearful, and be fearful when people are greedy. When things are going down, like that's when it's time to buy. Like for instance, right now is not the time to buy houses because everything is up, right? But there's going to be a time where you'll hear about, like for instance, when it was 2008 and you had the big housing bubble. Oh man, there were a lot of people who lost jobs and lost careers, and all kind of stuff happened, right? But there are some people who were sitting on cash, and they were like, "Hey, this is like everything is on sale, right? Investments are on sale, right?" And so I always talk about this, but buy income, and so like you can buy investments, right? If you build up your cash now, you can buy investments. So when the dip comes, you are ready. You always want to make sure you're ready. So I would even suggest, and I'll end with this, that you have a wealth account. Set up a separate account that you call your wealth account, and I want you to put money in it and don't touch it. This is not a savings account. This is not an emergency fund. This is strictly a wealth account, and you're going to only, this money is not for you to just build it up and let it sit there. This money is only for you to get the money and just let it sit until you find the right investment, right? Until you find the right investment that you want to make, right? And that is the key right there. And by the way, if you've ever read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, you know you want to pay yourself first, right? So you want to, obviously you want to give, you want to pay yourself first, and then you can decide, of course, have an emergency fund, start paying your bills after that. it's amazing. Most people, they get their paycheck and they pay all the bills and they have nothing left over. The key is to get your paycheck and, you know, give, um, pay yourself first, make some investments. And when I say pay yourself first, that's what I mean. I don't mean just take the money and then that's it. I mean, take the money. Yes, if you're going to put it in a wealth account and hold on to it until you find the investment, that's good. But at some in some capacity, even if you're just like putting a little bit of every paycheck into maybe the S&P 500 or something to that effect, you're winning, right? Because the S&P 500, it's actually a particular stock that has all the top companies in that one fund, if you will. So we'll talk more about that. But I just want to kind of just whet your appetite a little bit for those who maybe have never heard some of these terms or don't even know half of what I'm talking about. At least if you understand the principle and the concept, then you can take that and run with it. So listen, I appreciate you guys for listening to episode 168 of the Code Freedom Podcast. Don't forget to screenshot us. Let us know what you like about the podcast. I'd love to hear more in our Facebook page that we have. You can go to thewaytofreedom.info and connect with us. Appreciate you all. God bless, and we'll see you all over the top. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.